can you do a test for me?
Maybe read.
How is everything?
Yep,
Perfect.
perfect.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay. Perfect. We are at 2 o'clock, so we'll go on ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Dr. Tina Lewandowski, and I'm the Director of Engagement here at the KU Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. And Kelly is not here today. She is actually at the National Down Syndrome Congress Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. So she's very sad that she can't make it today. So she's put me into host. Today, we also have a special presentation about Alzheimer's and Down syndrome from Sarah and Greta from DSI. So excited to have both Sarah and Greta with us today. So let me tell you a little bit about Greta and Sarah. Greta is an easygoing, down-to-earth, intelligent, independent young woman. She's a self-advocate for all types of people with disabilities. She's been advocating for 28 years, has attended 15 national Down syndrome conventions where she's run for board member positions, presented as a panel speaker, and led healthy eating workshops. She's an avid public speaker and a people person. Greta recently accepted a job with the Division of the Physical Activity and Weight Management at KUMC, where she helps with ADRC Down syndrome specific research and community outreach efforts. And Sarah, along with her, is the Vice President of Lifespan Services at Down Syndrome Innovations, which we refer to as DSI oftentimes. Sarah oversees all of DSI educational and therapeutic services and designs new innovative programs which reach people with Down syndrome of all ages across the region. She's a strong advocate for best practice services and research for people with all developmental disabilities. Sarah has served with people with intellectual and developmental disability of all ages for more than 25 years in community and school-based practice and serves in multiple leadership roles in nonprofits. Sarah has a master's degree in occupational therapy from the University of Kansas. So we're very excited to have both Sarah and Greta with us. Before I turn you over to them, please note we do have closed captioning available at the bottom of your screen, and please stay muted throughout the presentation. If you have questions, you can type those in the chat and we will get to them, and Greta and Sarah will also answer your questions live at the end if you want to unmute at the end and ask any of your questions, and we'll have the recording available also. So I will turn it over to the two of you.
So I've seen some of the comments. We will speak up. If you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat to let us know if you could hear us. We just want to make sure that you can hear our message today.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. All right. Well, honestly, the superstar of the show is my dear friend and coworker, Greta. And so I would like her to introduce herself and deliver to you a very special message that she prepared. I'm really honored to be here with her. So without further ado.
Hi, I am Greta Floyd. I was born in New Bedford, Massachusetts. I'm 43. My birthday is January 27th, 1981 at 2:25 a.m. I have firsthand knowledge about people with different kinds of disabilities and special needs. I used to live in Florida, but they did not have any services for people with disabilities. Because of COVID, I had to give up working at my job at Publix, and and move back with my parents. I used to live by myself in my own condo for 15 years. And along with family, I have 2 new nephews. Tuesday, that's why my family and I moved up here. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I volunteer at Down Syndrome Innovations, where I check in on people. Also work out 2 times a week with a private coach. And Wednesdays, I work at CSI from 9 to 3 in the office. Saturday, I go to Weight Watchers and bowling. On Mondays, I work back to back to 2 different locations at KUMC. And that same night, I do Special Olympics competitive swimming practice. How I stay healthy. I make healthy choices by having a piece of fruit as a snack when I am going to watch TV, and make sure that I do not eat too much at meals or after meals. I watch my sugar intake. We got a family history problem with diabetes. And choose options that have less sugar in them. Writing in my journal helps clear my mind and help my family by writing errands with them. Research and self-advocacy. When I get new information, I pass it along to other people with Down syndrome and special needs. In general, I tell people to be considerate to people with special needs. I let them know that it might take them a little longer to understand. Everybody should make sure that all businesses are acceptable for people with special needs. I look forward to advocating for people with special needs in my new job with research at KUMC. I think research is important because it keeps us updated on science. People with Down syndrome should be included in research and get familiar with it by taking notes. Being involved in research is also a nice way to contribute to the community and help figure out what's going on. Parents can look for information about research studies and then talk with their children with Down syndrome about it. Alzheimer's disease. What I know about Alzheimer's is that it is deadly and can be genetic. My grandpa died from it. That's all I know, but I would love to learn more. I think it's important to catch it early and to have regular doctor visits. I have a female doctor because that's who I am comfortable with. It's important for people with Down syndrome to have a doctor they can trust and a doctor who knows how to work with people with disabilities. It is also important to take the medications prescribed by doctors in correct dosage. I use a pill box and I refill it at the end of the week so I can remember to take the right medicines. Conclusion. In closing, this is good information for everyone involved to be aware of the world of disabilities and make sure you understand and include people with disabilities in businesses, in research, in healthcare, in social groups, in employment, in self-advocacy. Also, make sure that you can vote no matter what kind of disability you have. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed this webinar. side note, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. Grab Foy.
Greta, that was incredible. It's such
Excellent job, Greta.
It's such an honor to present with Greta, and man, those are all your words and your ability to advocate for yourself and advocate for other people with Down syndrome, other people with disabilities, and to care so much about people who could have or have Alzheimer's disease, and to encourage people to participate in research, to encourage people to take care of their health and understand risks. You are incredibly educational, incredibly inspiring.
I knew I forgot one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Also, please make sure that you don't get bamboozled by the school system as well. I know from personal knowledge.
Well, and I think, I think one of the things we talk about at Down Syndrome Innovations on our teams is how, when it comes to being healthy, it's a process of our whole life, right? So whether we're in school, whether we're, a teenager, a young adult, whether we work or don't work, we have to be aware of how to take care of ourselves, right?
Yes.
And we need to learn, we need to keep our bodies moving, we need to take care of our brains, right?
Right.
And I just, as a representative of the team at Down Syndrome Innovations, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here. Our organization is committed to KU Alzheimer's Disease Research Center as a partner. We're committed to the entire, all the trials and the research studies, the education provided to families. We want to be a part of the solution, the national and the international solutions. One thing that I know that we can contribute is educating people, but also educating people through the life experiences of folks like Greta. The fact that Greta is self-determined in her life, the fact that she has chosen to learn how to take better care of herself, to take her medicines properly,
Right.
is incredible. And that's something, Greta is an inspiration to us. And we want to inspire, others in similar situations like her and other parents and caregivers, to understand, this disease and other things that can affect your ability to be independent, to
Or
be employed.
control a horse.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna talk about that one, right? But, I hear you. So, I mean, there's a lot of complicated things that can affect our quality of life, right?
Right.
And one thing I think we know, and Tina can speak more to this, is that we have a lot to learn about this correlation between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease. And the more we learn from participants with Down syndrome in the studies, the more that it can be generalized to the entire population. And that's powerful, powerful information. And the fact that we have adults with Down syndrome and their families committed to research, that's just not helping people with Down syndrome. It's really helping the general population. So we understand that our mission primarily is to support people with Down syndrome, but we know that there are opportunities in research that are going to support everybody. You mentioned your grandfather affected, all of us have
Yes.
family members, and we want to know, we want to help everybody in our families and in our life, right?
Yeah, they Alzheimer's and dementia are not as easy
Yeah.
to handle, especially my grandpa died with Alzheimer's. Same thing with my grandmother who died with dementia.
Yeah.
She's falling over and winds up getting herself hurt in the process.
And a lot of us have had friends that, we've seen go through a really tough journey. So, look, whether it's, finding a cure or finding a way to improve quality of life, we don't want people to suffer, right? At the end of the day. And we want to understand the prevention. We want to understand the risks. And so we just come to you today, committed to the solution, partners in this process. And I'm just really, really proud of you. Wake up. I'm just teasing. I'm proud of Greta. I'm so proud of Greta. She's an advocate, and she's an inspiration. And you know, we want together, we want to help more people, right?
Of course.
Of course. So Tina, if there's any questions specifically you would like us to answer, I would love to kind of pass that to you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much. You're very inspiring for all of the work you do. And when I was here at the KU Alzheimer's Disease Research Center, and they mentioned that we were going to start having research studies for individuals born with Down syndrome, I was so excited because what a great opportunity to reach a population that has not had an opportunity to participate in clinical trials specifically focused on brain health. And the ADRC and several of our researchers have been doing research for years with individuals who have Down syndrome. It's really excited that we have studies at the national level. We also happen to be joined by Dr. Lauren Toomey, who is here today. She's unable to turn her camera on right now, but she is able to take a moment and share a few of the research studies that we have available for you to hear about if anyone's interested in participating in those studies. So Dr. Toomey?
Hey. Hey, Greta, you did a great job today, by the way. I just want to make sure you get that starting off. So I'm Lauren Tomey. I'm the director of our Brain Health and Down Syndrome program here at the Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. And we have a couple really exciting opportunities right now specifically for individuals with Down syndrome. The one I'm going to talk about first, I'm thrilled about because we are actually able to offer the first anti-amyloid treatment specifically developed and being tested in individuals with Down syndrome. So this is a vaccine. The study is called ABATE, and what it is a vaccine where you can take, and they think it will actually stop the production of amyloid beta, so it doesn't get built up in the brain, hopefully preventing Alzheimer's disease. And this is the first trial in the US that's happening in individuals with Down syndrome. And so we're really excited to be a part of this and offering this to our community. Because right now it's looking like it's a safe option that has a really good potential at helping to prevent that amyloid buildup, which we know is related to developing Alzheimer's disease. So this is a study that anyone with Down syndrome who's 40 years of age or older who might be interested in can come and see if they qualify. But outside of that, we also have what are the statistics regarding, okay, so this is a great question, by the way. Someone just asked, what are the statistics regarding people with Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease? So right now that we know that basically every single person with Down syndrome will develop pathology related to Alzheimer's disease. So they're going to develop those plaques and tangles in the brain from that amyloid beta buildup. About 90% of people will develop the cognitive decline related to dementia that we see. And that's by about age 65. So it's a pretty high prevalence that we're seeing right now, and people are developing it early. So on average, people to get diagnosed about 51 years of age with Alzheimer's disease dementia. So kind of when you actually start to see those big cognitive declines. And so that's why it's really important that we make sure that we are prioritizing people with Down syndrome and including them in research, because even though almost every single one may develop Alzheimer's disease, they've been left out of all of the new state-of-the-art clinical trials that are going on. And so our job is now to make sure that they're no longer left out, but instead made a priority. And so we're really excited that we're able to offer this ABATE study. We have 2 more pharmaceutical trials potentially coming in the fall, and we have 1 lifestyle intervention, which is just going to focus on changing what you eat can affect your thinking and kind of looking at the brain and seeing if it can stop some of that amyloid beta buildup. And that will be called BOLD, and that will be available in the fall as well. So it's a really exciting time. For people who might be interested in just learning a little bit more but aren't sure if they're ready for clinical trials, we're now part of something called the Alzheimer Biomarker Consortium for Down syndrome, which is the largest cohort of older adults with Down syndrome in the US, which is specifically looking to understand kind of the development of Alzheimer's disease and Down syndrome. And so when I gave you those stats earlier, almost all of the data comes from that cohort. And so if anyone's interested in contributing to something like that, you can enroll in this trial. It's called ABCDS, and you just do a couple visits every 16 months where we look at how your brain works, ask you questions about your thinking, and look at your overall health. And a lot of that information will help scientists continue to learn more about Alzheimer's disease and Down syndrome, and also continue to help develop all these really neat clinical trials that we're finally allowing people with Down syndrome to be a part of, so we can hopefully find a cure.
Thank you, Dr. Toomey. And I know Dr. Toomey talked about a lot of studies, which is really exciting, but you don't have to decide which one's best for you. We have an entire team of people who can talk to you about what study would be best for you and that would be most interesting for you. So you can give us a call and we would be more than happy to talk with you and your family about what type of study would work out best for you. So Lauren, thank you so much for sharing those, or Dr. Toomey, thank you so much for sharing those studies with us so that people can be aware of the research opportunities and how they're participating in those studies can make a difference for everyone with Down syndrome and for their families too. So thank you for taking time to visit with us about that. Sarah and Greta, anything you want to add or share as well?
You know, I think one of the things that we really work on here is, you know, just what it takes to not just, you know, prevent the onset of Alzheimer's disease and the debilitating symptoms of that, but what is just going to contribute to us living healthy lifestyles. And so, you know, one of the things that we really invest in is, you know, health and wellness opportunities, fitness opportunities, nutrition opportunities, for our individuals of all ages. So, you know, I just, even the more I learn about my own aging, but especially those I serve, we've got to keep our bodies moving, right?
Right.
We gotta get our heart rates up. We gotta eat well. And that's something that's often left out of the services for people with Down syndrome and other developmental disabilities. And so out of everybody that's kind of on the line here, your life has probably been touched by an individual with Down syndrome or other developmental disabilities. And we don't want them to be on their own when it comes to how to engage in a fitness journey and take care of themselves physically. So we want you all to know that those preventative, you know, those preventative measures, those services are very, very important to us. And that, you know, please contact us if that's something that we can support. So it takes all of us. It takes the physicians, it takes the therapists, it takes the fitness trainers, the nutritionists. So, you know, this isn't possible without collaborations across health systems and nonprofits and volunteers. And so, you know, at the end of the day, like, be a part of the solution, right? For yourself and the community. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
This to be so no matter what stuff that comes in your way for life, it also makes sense to not let your parent or a former best friend tell you what to do, especially if they're 20. Yeah, you might not overeat.
Well, I think, you know, at the end of the day, we all need support systems, right? Whether it's parents or best friends and
Or former best friends.
yeah, and sometimes we just need accountability when it comes to taking care of ourselves. So we're going to do that for each other, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, sometimes when things don't go right, come up with a plan B.
Be a problem solver, right? Be a problem solver. And that's really when our lives are affected by chronic disease, by Alzheimer's, whatever, like, we can't give up hope, right? We got to keep it moving and we got to keep living our
come
life.
up with a good strategy. When good strategy fails, come up with a new one.
That's right. If it fails, come up with a new one. Keep living life. So we're going to keep it bright over here and keep finding inspiration. And we're inspired by our friends over at KU ADRC who are I will tell you, not only committed to the research, committed to the people. And that's what we see. We see the physicians and the researchers, that as our families and our caregivers and our self-advocates participate, we know that they are valued. They are not a data point. They are valued and they are known and they are treated with dignity and integrity. Sometimes people get nervous about engaging in research, but I trust this team implicitly in the way they take care of our families. And so that, if those fears are there, talk to them. That's something I would definitely encourage of families. If the fears are there, just talk. You can start the conversation. You can start the conversation with us at DSI or talk to them. You don't have to leap all the way into a study immediately. So, work through that together. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been an honor to be on here and learn from you all and to see everybody that's joined. Right?
Thank you so much. And we're so happy to be able to work so closely with DSI and work with all of the people connected through DSI. And Sarah was exactly right. Research will always be there for you. We will always have studies. If now is not a time that works for you, that's okay. We'll be here when you are ready. We also have other things that you can participate in or be a part of if maybe research isn't right for you at the moment. We have a VFit program. So Sarah was talking about how important it is to be moving. So we have a program where it's virtual and you can exercise with our KU team. And so I can put Jessie Dannon is in charge of that. So I will put her email in the chat so you can reach out to Jessie if that's something that you're interested in participating in. And that's not research, but that would connect you to our team and you could get to know our team. If then you wanted to decide to participate in research later, absolutely you could. Also, we have the My Alliance program, so you can stay connected with us through our My Alliance network. We send out emails every Monday with a newsletter that tells about being a part of our weekly webinar, tells about things that are going on within the field. We have brain tips in there, all kinds of good information and research study opportunities. So joinmyalliance.com. If you're not already part of Join My Alliance, you can join My Alliance. So I will put both of those that information in the chat. We did have a question from the audience, which I'm hoping either Dr. Tomey or Dr. Hustle could maybe help answer. The question is the incidence of Alzheimer's in people with Down syndrome due to chromosomes? So Dr. Tomey, could you help us with that?
Sure. So yes, the answer is yes. So chromosome 21, which individuals with Down syndrome have 3 copies of, actually is the chromosome responsible for developing, it has the amyloid precursor protein on it, which develops those plaques and tangles that I kind of told you about that we think at least contribute to Alzheimer's disease. And so because you now have 3 copies of it, you have an over-accelerated production of it. So that's kind of why we see this high incidence, as well as kind of a number of other things going on, but it is related to the chromosomal differences.
Thank you so much. And I just also want to share this comment that was in the chat from Trisha. Greta, thank you so much for sharing your successes and what you do to make good choices each day. I too prefer female medical providers. You are an inspiration. And I have to say, I prefer female medical providers. Sorry, males out there. Just agree with Greta on that one. So thank you very much. Any other final comments or questions? All right, well, we will have the recording up on our YouTube channel. We are so excited to have everybody here today to talk about the progress that we're making with research for families with Down syndrome. So thank you for being a part of our conversation today, and Kelly G will be back next week. So thank you again, Sarah and Greta, and thank you, DSI, everything you do to help support us for our research.
Absolutely. It's an honor. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.